What up? What up? Welcome back to another session of Sports Top 49. And I'm always here with my main man, James. Big game. Canada talking NFL draft. We took a defensive tackle in the first round and an offensive lineman. James is going to give you his ones and twos on the defensive line, what he thinks, because you already know he's a Hall of Fame man out of Nevada. So you're going to always listen to what perspectives he's got.
Yeah.
James, what's popping?
Man, Blake, thanks for having me, man. I'm glad to be here. And I don't know about everybody. I'm excited about this draft pick, man.
Which one you talking about? You talking about the D line or the O line?
I'm talking about Kalijah Kancey, man.
Oh, okay.
D line. Actually, both picks I think are good picks and good fits, and that's what the draft is all about. So many people fall in love with certain names, but every player out there doesn't fit your scheme or your, what you're trying to do. And you're a guy that play the game, so that I could be in love with somebody, but if that guy is zero technique, two gapping tackle, he's not gonna really fit what I'm trying to get done, and on my defense, right? So you got to pick accordingly, and I think we got something that helps because now you can slide Kancey in, still put Logan Hall in with him as well, along with Vita Vet. I mean, you can get a mix of different things, which I still believe Logan Hall didn't play a lot last year.
No.
I mean, but I think he's going to come into his own. You know what I mean? And with Roaches leaving, Roaches leaving to go to New York, this is a fit that comes in that can play right away and straight deliver. That's what you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like the whole next man up mentality. And
Right.
you see both players offer different skill set.
Right.
Logan Hall, I said a lot. I don't know. I'm sure you saw in my post the word I kept using on all of them. You need two-way players. You need two-way players. And if you don't know what I mean by two-way, because me and James, we obviously played again, so we may say verbiage you understand. So I try to say it in a way you understand. But what I mean by two-way players is you can put your hand in the dirt and stand up on the edge. That means your hand in the dirt on the edge. And then what I mean by that is you're offering a edge pressure, and you can offer interior pressure. You're not just a one guy, you're one trick pony. You can offer two, and especially in a Todd Bowles defense,
right?
You already know Todd Bowles is a defensive mastermind. He finds all types of ins and outs. We were just talking off air about when Hakeem Hicks rushed off the edge as an edge rusher. You ain't seen him do that ever in his career. Or if he did, it was very rare, and he got a sack out of it. Todd Bowles is going to put these guys in positions to win. He's going to find ways to get the best out of these guys, and that's what you want out of a guy like that. And as you mentioned, he's a quick twitch guy. He can rush, he can offer, he can beat offensive tackles, he can beat slower guards, he can play that. But the only question that you have for him is if in run support, when you get against those big offensive linemen and those guys, is he going to be able to set a good base and not get mowed over? You play defensive line, James. What do you think? What's your personal opinion on it?
Now, going back to the days of when I was in Tampa, it was straight up one gap penetration, getting upfield and controlling your gap on the way up the field. We did a lot of stunting and a lot of moving. We didn't blitz a lot. And it's kind of the same thing in this mode. Kancey will have to move around some. He's not going to be able to line up in your zero technique and play right down the middle of anyone because, the offensive lineman would absorb him doing that. So he's going to have to play on edges, play on gaps, and they're going to have to do a lot of quick movement, I think. But just watching his get off and how he penetrates that A gap, B gap, C, even, on some of these highlights I've seen where they put him all the way outside in the C and he stunned it all the way back down to A with a knife in there, rip, keep containment. And it's just amazing. I like it. You know what I mean? It's just so the creativity of the defense is a good fit for him. And I think that's something that he'll adjust to very well.
I agree. I definitely agree about that. And these clips, just solidify what we're talking about. You see, you just mentioned, he just played over the nose and he came stunning all the way to the C gap, which is the outside, and was able to manage to get pressure. And that's where his speed comes into play. Now, you guys saw me on social media post over and over about, what was that? Nolan Smith out of Georgia, where I was like, he ran the 4.3 and the 40, but I don't see that on the tape. You see where his speed comes into play playing defensive tackle in this game and how he uses it in the game. That's what I mean when you guys hear me say that. That's what I'm trying to articulate when I say that. And as I always say, us in media, I think we have you have a responsibility to teach you guys things that you don't know about the game and stuff like that. And that's what I mean when I mention that your tape needs to match your athletic ability that you
Right.
in the combine, and he does both on you. Just those clips, you see how that 40-yard dash time transpires onto his football field. Your thoughts?
Yeah, because Blake, he ran like what a 4.64
Mhm.
40, but they said his 10-yard get off was like 1.65.
And that's what's important
I'm
because
like,
that's how
what?
he's been
No, no,
played
no, no. I said it
since.
can't be 10, it had to be 5. And it was like, no, I mean, I think I tried to read it twice. I said my glasses had to be dirty. But you know what I mean? To be able to get off that fast, but yeah, like you said, you see it in his first step. And now don't think I'm crazy, but I did a small piece today saying that the Buccaneers got the steal of the first round with this pick because this is a hybrid Aaron Donald Warren Sapp when it comes to get off.
Mhm.
I mean, and I know a lot of people gonna say I'm crazy because that's high praise, high comparison.
Right.
But if you just watch that get off, and then you look at Aaron Donald's get off, and you go watch prime Warren Sapp, that's the thing that he had that a lot of people could never adjust to. He closed ground and got into offensive lineman's chest so fast they couldn't react to block, grab, or do anything else. And that's
Can't
what
sink an anchor is what James is talking about.
yeah,
Can't sink the anchor.
that's what 9-9 was so good at.
Yeah.
And it's I love watching it.
No, and the thing about Warren Sapp, his story is so significant. And what I mean by that, he wasn't a defensive tackle going into college.
Right,
He
tight
was a,
end.
he was a tight end that put on weight. He grew into his body. And you know what I'm talking about. When you leave high school and that transformation for those next 4 years in the college, you start transforming to whatever player you're going to be. And then you go from there. Sapp went on the heavier side. I mean, that's just his genetics. You can't beat that. Unfortunate for him, he found a niche at defensive tackle and found a way to make a Hall of Fame career out of it.
Right.
I'm not saying the guy that the Bucks just drafted in the first round is going to do the same thing. I'm just saying he has those intangibles, those get-offs. He may not be the best run stuffer. He may develop into that. That's the part where you got coaching, trainers, and everybody. Maybe he could add that part to his game. We already know he can get after the quarterback. And speaking of it, the Buccaneers are up picking right now. I think Dexter Jackson is up picking right now. I guess we'll talk about this in a second here.
Okay.
Let me turn up this volume and see what's going on here. Hold your horses, Bucks fans. Pick is up.
oh, get back down here.
Yep. Here we go. So
okay.
So Devin White is on notice.
Yeah, but I mean, is he really a true linebacker, or is he one of those outside linebackers that they play defensive end with too?
Oh, he's edge. Excuse me. The way they said it was linebacker.
Yeah. No, he did say linebacker, but I'm looking. I was like, nah, this dude look like a. I mean, we need it, and I'm not mad at edge just because Shaq got hurt last year.
Correct, and he had no real depth behind it either.
Yeah, and JTS is still trying to figure it out. Which I think he's a great athlete. I just want to see it transition into the plays being made, which I think he can. But I'm not gonna lie, Blake. I was thinking, and I don't have my sheet up of the class, but I wanted to see a defensive back go somewhere in one of these rounds today. I wanted to see a corner or a safety go.
The guys I had, though, he just went a couple picks before the Bucks. Went to the Eagles. Sidney Brown. That was the guy I had the Bucks picking up. He's a guy that could play in the box and he could play over top. And Bulls, they run that three safety defense. They take out the corner and replace it with a safety. I thought he would have fit well in there. But unfortunately, the Eagles have been killing the draft. And
is that the guy did he play at Illinois?
Yes, it was. Illinois had both safeties in the draft and then the corner Witherspoon.
They had three DBs drafted this year. That is nuts. Yeah, Brown would have been a good fit, and and we knew he wasn't gonna last way too long on day 2. So I feel you on that. But I got to look up Yaya Manjama some more, and study that some more, and see. But I like what we did free agent wise, getting Weller. I think the tackle out of and guard from the Chargers.
Yeah, 2-way player.
Yeah, and he's got 7. Out of 78 career games, he started 74 of them. Why he got let go, I don't know, but he's been sufficient enough to be on the field on the NFL team. So I think that helped the offensive line. and then Cody, what's his name? The second round pick we
Mark,
got
Cody Mark,
yeah, tonight. He's big, long body, but kind of light in the butt. I think you move him in the guard, and you got rotation and build a little bit of depth now on that offensive line, which is good.
I think that the part that they liked about him the most, he was a guy I paid really close attention to in the draft process when the senior bowl games and the little pre-draft combine stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They literally moved him at all spots on the offensive line, and he played well at all of them.
Wow.
He played good at guard. He played good at tackle. As you saw there, he plays left tackle. That we and you mentioned, you already have Tristan Wirfs at right tackle. He's an all American, all pro at right tackle. Why jeopardize that? Moving him to the left.
Right.
Now you have Cody Mauch that could play anywhere on the offensive line, including left tackle. Now you can leave your stud where he's been good at and move him to the left tackle. We'll see how he turns out. See if he can bulk up some this offseason.
Yeah.
See if he can move in. I have some clips too. I said see if he can move in and play guard or whatever, because they obviously need some type of offensive depth. Some guys that they have, because the offensive lineman that they picked up out of Central Michigan, his name slipping my mind. He really struggled.
Gadecki
really struggled at guard, and I said that when they drafted him. I said, I've played against a lot of guys that were gym rats, and I absolutely dominated them at the line of scrimmage.
Right.
And they would always try to figure out how I would do that, is because strength is one thing. That's you're pushing a weight up and down. It has nothing to do with when you're trying to use that and apply that on a guy that's moving laterally and doing all this, because that's a different. The strength's only going to get you so far. It's good if you're just standing there and want to move something.
Right.
When you're trying to block somebody or trying to move somebody, it's a different skill set than that. And I think Gadecki was struggling with that, because a lot of guys were able to maneuver around him and get their hands off of him and things like that. And that's stuff he's going to have to learn in this game, because it's not the same as lifting a weight. You have to learn how to use, like I'll keep harping on this because it's important. You have to figure out a way to use what you best at and apply that to your skill set. You got to use that, and that goes in all sports: NBA, NFL, NHL. You got to figure out a ways to do that. But with the 19th pick, that guy uses that on the field to his play.
Right. You're dead on, man. He does, and he brings a passion to the game. Doesn't he look like Ryan Jensen? Doesn't look like Ryan Jensen can be his long lost brother?
Oh, you come up with the long hair, don't care. Hey, man.
Long red hair.
Yeah, but, when Jensen comes on, I'm definitely gonna bring that up, because I was supposed to catch up with Jensen. I know he's been in Colorado building that awesome facility. I can't wait to talk to him about that, because I'm big into the, with his support of the troops and all that. And I know what Jensen, that's what he's been doing this whole time. He's supposed to get up with us, but he's been really busy. But I'm going to bring that up and say that they're going to have the long hair crew, on the offensive line. Everybody just going to get long hair, and see how that goes. See if they can get a trend going.
Right. Man, but yeah. I mean, that's a good pick. Going to be a good pick. Moving on to this. This season just intrigues me all the way around, and a lot of people in the NFC South are making moves. So it's like, but what do you think? The Buccaneers are going to rank in this division this year with all the moves being made.
Oh man, it's interesting. I mean, when you say all that, the first thing you think about is the quarterback position. It's the most important position. The quarterback position, because you move on from Tom Brady. Now everybody's trying to go, and it's kind of unfair, because what everybody's going to do is try to compare everything you do to Tom Brady.
Yeah, and it's not even close, man. But you're right.
It's sad for whoever that is going to be, Kyle Trask or Baker Mayfield,
right?
Because that's what's going to happen every week in and week out. And I'll say the only thing they have to do, I say, is when you're faced in this situation, you have to rely on running the ball, playing good defense. You do not turn the ball over, Hopefully, your offense can amount some type of points on the board. You're gonna have to at least score 24 points a game. And if you do that, I think you can be in some winning
Yeah.
situations, especially if you don't turn the ball over and you play solid D. And I'm really happy that Todd Bowles and Jason Light are taking that step forward in picking and solidifying your trenches. All three picks have been trenches picks.
Yeah.
Just watch the Eagles, what they've done. Watch everybody they can get after the quarterback and they protect your quarterback. You
Yeah.
build from the front of the house to the back of the house.
Yeah.
You're
You never got to convince me that that's a bad way of doing things. That's for
you
sure.
win. Just look, you win when you do that.
Yeah.
It's a recipe for success.
Yeah. Now, what do you think about? I know we talked last time I was on your show about Hendon Hooker
Mm.
and the visit to Tampa, and he was sliding there for a while. I thought we might get lucky, and then Detroit comes up and snatches him.
Detroit has had a masterful offseason draft and everything. They went and got their running backs. They went and got a quarterback for the future. Dan Campbell has shut my mouth because I was a guy that didn't think he would be able to. I didn't think he had the intestinal fortitude to be a good head coach, and the underwhelming. I'll eat crow. I didn't think he had you too.
I'm guilty, bro. I am guilty. I said it last night on the draft show we did. I said, if I ever see Dan Campbell, I'm gonna introduce myself, tell him good job, and I'm gonna say, let me be the first one to say I'm sorry for some of the things I said about you on my podcast because I just the first press conference,
That's what set me. That one.
I just could not.
I wasn't with it.
Like,
We're gonna climb up from your ankles and bite you to the
and
knee.
if we're down, we bite. Yeah, we'll bite your knees and we'll bite your ankles. And I was like, come on, man. He lost me. But somewhere between there and what he said in that locker room to those players, they bought every bit of it, and it fits. And you know, I look at someone like him, then I think back, I'm like, yo, Todd Bowles, man, you gotta do something like to firing your dudes when it get nut clenching time and back against the wall, because I just think that might be the one piece that we're missing sometimes is who's the fire starter, because like not every coach is a raw guy, we know that, but if the head coach isn't, he normally has someone else around him that is. You know what I mean?
No, you're right. You usually have some type of guy that gets in that ass.
Yeah.
When you get wrong. I mean, I've watched that off tape interviews with Jamel Dean and all that stuff like that. I guess Bowles doesn't really show it on the television, but when they're by themselves, he gets on them because Dean said he was like, he said when I screwed up when I bit out and up, he said he pulled me to the sideline and tore me up.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, he said he tore me up. He said he got on there. He said they don't run double move. He said, why would you bite that? He said we talked about that. And he said it'll let you know about what you did wrong, because I said before, there's a reason why the defensive backs are good in Tampa, because Todd Bowles played defensive back in Tampa for Arizona. There's a reason why nobody gave a damn about Carlton Davis. Nobody gave a shit about Jamil Dean, even though I predicted it in the third round. I predicted that pick at third round. And Antoine Winfield. Nobody gave a rat's ass about any of those guys when they were drafted. And suddenly, all three of those guys are stars under Todd Bowles. It's not a coincidence that happened.
Right. You're right, and that's big, and that's and I think Todd Bowles with the right people in place can get it done. Now, do you think that he needs to hire a defensive coordinator and not try to do both?
I think he should stay coaching defense, and then you need to find an offensive mastermind. I had Aaron Curry on one of the podcasts I helped produce. It's called House of Yinzer, and I have the girls ask a guy I played against both in high school and college, who was a 5th overall draft pick, and Aaron Curry to the Seattle Seahawks. I remember that years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, me and Aaron are from the same town, familiar with each other. I'm a little older than Aaron. Aaron was an underclassman when I had played against him. I had him answer a question about Canales because they both come from the Pete Carroll coaching tree. And what he said about Canales is, Aaron smiled ear to ear. If I could find the clip, I'll put it on here when you talk. He said Canales is a guy that is very smart. Canales is a guy that has a contingency plan for a contingency plan. And Tampa's going to be really fortunate to have a guy with his caliber, because he's been waiting for his opportunity, and now he's finally gotten it. And I think they're going to be pleased with what they're getting. What are
And
your
not,
thoughts on Canales?
that's good. And not just to lean on this, but to see how Geno Smith played this past year, that was another one I was like, man, Seattle's in trouble. They relying on Geno. And dude, they did that without weapons. They did that with only Calvin
That part.
Johnson and Tyler Lockett. Running back stayed hurt. It's like they made these picks with nothing really going on. So I'm excited because if he had that level of mind to learn and do things under Pete Carroll the way he did, and can bring that, I believe that the Buccaneers are going to be in a good place this year.
They just can't turn the ball over. Live with what you got on
Yeah.
offense. Don't turn the ball. If it's not there, don't take it. Let your defense play. If you lose the game, you lose the game. Just don't turn the ball over and continue to put yourself in winning situations. I do have that clip here. I got it loading up.
All right, but that Blake, that's what 12 did a lot of that we weren't ready for last year. He turned the ball over a lot more than he ever had in the past, and a lot of people don't really talk about that. They blame it on everything else.
It's Tom Brady for everything but the mistakes. I mean, I dropped all those eggshells, or those Easter eggs last time we talked about what really transpired.
Right.
From what Caleb was talking to me about that whole situation. They gave Tom everything he wanted, and everything fell by the wayside. I mean, they shouldn't. The writing was on the wall from the offseason. You're not showing up to preseason practices. You're not showing up to games and walkthroughs to go to your old team's wedding. What? You just not showing up with everybody else. You haven't done that your entire career, but now you're going to do it. And here we go. We were talking about. I just finished loading it up. Here's Curry talking about Dave Canales. Check this out.
A testament to hard work, commitment, dedication, long hours, desire.
Oh, excuse me, that was the wrong one. That was actually on him talking about Steelers young pass rusher Alex Highsmith.
Okay,
he was on his last year of his contract coming into the Steelers, and they were wondering if they were to draft another pass rusher, would it put Alex Highsmith on notice, being that this guy come out of small college out of Charlotte, Larry Ogunjobi and him and things like that. We were just talking about that transfer. I thought that was it. That was it. But this has been an interesting draft so far. 49ers are finally getting the pick after 3 rounds. Is there anybody on here? I mean, is Nevada going to get a guy getting drafted? I mean, what do you?
I'm hoping so, man. We were 2-9 this year, man. We didn't do very good, and then with when Jay Norvell left to go to Colorado State, he took 20 guys with him in the portal. I mean, the transfer portal killed us. Coach Wilson is doing a good job of turning things around, even using the portal to get guys in there and trying to rebuild. But that the draft class we had the year before with Romeo Dobbs and Turner Titan it was different. And this year there's a couple guys I'm not trying to be funny. When I looked on most scouting reports and went into like the draft networks top 425, they didn't have anyone from Nevada on there. I was like, God dog. I take that back. Big Dom Peterson, the D lineman, may have but he's a late day guy because he's a short D lineman. Again, you know what I'm saying? He's a short D lineman that doesn't have the Cansey burst, so it's a little different. So,
I mean,
yeah, man, it's interesting it's hard, not hard, but when you go into this thing, you watch the draft. One of the biggest things is you want to see your alma mater do well. You want to see guys from your school get drafted because I like to think that I set a foundation of letting helping Nevada get put on a map of talent being able to come out of that school, and it's been a roller coaster like the last 2 years.
I mean, you guys always will have Colin Kaepernick, to hang your hat on, have very a lot of success.
Hey man, Cap did his thing, dude. He was phenomenal. It was funny. I had a chance back when he was in school, getting ready to come out. My old head coach Chris Alt was his head coach as well, and we put me in contact, and I talked to him. I said, man, you got a bright future ahead of you. I said a lot of people won't see it. A lot of people might not want to take a chance on you. I said, but only one team needs to want you. Colin.
Right.
I said, in the right team that'll want you, you'll be fine. That second round pick to Frisco, and man, what a career. I mean, controversial, but what he stands up for, what he believes in, does a lot of great things for the community still to this day.
Yep.
So it's like, you got to tip your hat off to him for, what he's doing, and he's doing it the way he wants to do it, and, doing what he believes in.
Absolutely. It's funny. The very thing he fought for is what later ended up having riots and things over later on.
Mm-hmm.
Got very little notice for that. That's exactly the thing he was fighting for. Whatever. I mean, he's allowed to believe what he wants to believe and represent what he wants. I mean, everybody else is doing it. Why can't he? And he wasn't rude or disrespectful about it. I mean, regardless of who's telling the story. I got no beef with him believing what he believed in, but he represents Nevada, and he always will be. He made headway, in the league. They took a chance on him in San Francisco, set him up in a winning situation out there, and he was, took a couple plays away from winning a Super Bowl. So history could have been written different. And then you would have had a Nevada player, winning the Super Bowl as a starting quarterback in the NFL. Not sure if that's ever been done. I don't think so. Has it? No.
No, not when that's starting quarterback. No.
Well, there's always room for improvement in the future.
There you go.
So that's what the Bucs got. They want 2 defensive linemen, 1 offensive lineman, 3 trenches picked. I'm with you on that. Getting something else in the secondary is probably going to have to be either a safety or, I just said maybe in the later rounds, pick up a running back out of Pittsburgh. That'll probably be tomorrow.
Yeah.
I like that kid out of Pitt. He's very dynamic and athletic. I mean, who do you have any guys specific who you think they should pick up? Any guys you're loving right now? All right,
I haven't seen.
Is my guy.
I hadn't seen the kid from Tulane, the running back. I haven't seen the running back from Tulane get picked up yet. And they said he'd be a second round, third round guy. I watched him in the Cotton Bowl against USC, and I need to pull it up and see if he's still on the board. Mm-hmm. But that's someone I wouldn't mind seeing get drafted. And then, oh my God, why can't I not think of this kid's name right now? Center out of Arkansas. But I know
he hasn't gone yet. 2 centers went. I think the Penn State guy and I don't think the Wisconsin guy went either.
No, they had the D lineman go finally. I think it was the Giants that got him.
Yeah,
which was man. They said it right on him. He's a big guy. He makes big plays in big games, and sometimes against smaller schools, he just disappeared. I'm trying to find this list. I made a list of guys, man, that I want to see available late. And would it be? See, we already got 2 edges, so an edge and an interior. So I don't see. I had O'Shawn Mathis out of Nebraska down, but Ricky Stromberg is the center I was talking about out of Arkansas.
Okay, Stromberg.
That's not bad at all. Safety help if we could have gotten Brian Branch, but at the same time, the pieces that fell to us when they did with the person, it was kind of like we needed these. And we just got Ryan Neal, the safety, as a free agent from Seattle.
Big upside.
And 24, 26 years old, young,
a lot of trend.
Started 10 games last year, can get things done. So it's a good pick for us. So, I mean, pick up. So I can see why they decided we don't have to go safety right now.
Right.
But, I like secondary depth. I can't help it. But I think then a linebacker, and Blake, I'm not going to lie to you, I don't know enough about the linebackers in this draft.
I feel a lot of them, not interior guys.
Yeah. And the better ones have gotten picked already. I know the kid from Iowa, and
the one from Arkansas.
Yeah, they both went today, and it's just like ooh. And they had late first round grades, early second round grades. And they fell right into where they were, projected to go. So,
nope, you're absolutely right. I mean, there's spots that they're deep in the draft, and there's spots that are not. Defensive back. And I think interior linemen are really deep in this draft. Yeah. You can find some studs in here. And, of course, as always in the league, league is full with a lot of day 3, day 2 guys.
Yeah.
Starting this league, a lot of the first-round guys don't always pan out. But I've noticed around the league, it's a lot of day 2, day 3 undrafted guys that are stars in this league now. Mm-hmm. And that's just a testament to coaching.
Yeah.
Good coaches make bad players average. Average players good and good players great.
Right.
That's what coaches do. You do your job. But it was when I saw the Patriots pick up Branch, that didn't surprise me. That was a pick I actually thought. And I noticed they had him labeled as a cornerback. They didn't have him labeled as a safety. They had him labeled as a corner. So I'm not. So we'll see how that all turns out.
Right.
I mean, we'll see. Everything is wait and see now. And if I got the Bucks, I mean, they got their offense, they got their defense, their picks. You got Cody Malcolm. You got two interior guy. Well, one interior, one outside guy on the defensive line. One could play both. Um, like I said, maybe a running back in the late rounds. I do think still you maybe need one more pick on that defensive front, being how many guys you lost.
That's true. That
This
is
off
true.
season, you lost a lot of guys on that defensive line, and Todd Bowles predicates on stopping the run
Run.
first,
Yeah, you're right.
then the pass. So I mean, you're good in the secondary. You still got the rookie you drafted last year. You still got
Oh
guys.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
you still got him from last year. You got guys there. You always want to add, and this is where it comes in where you got to pick up guys like undrafted and the later picks, or if you see a guy here coming up in the end of the third or the fourth round that you need to have, you need to just go ahead and get it if it fits a need for your team. Like
Now
you said,
Keely Ringo is still out there from Georgia as well.
oh, you talking about the guy with speed?
The corner, yeah, and he had a first round grade early, and he's dropped all the way to like he's probably gonna fall today, to the fourth round. Will he be around then? I don't know, but if he is, that's a cornerback that we can bring in that can help, and then you can even use him on special teams if you need to.
You are going to need that, absolutely. Special teams, I think guys forget about that, but I try to preach to guys all on social media that speed doesn't exactly transparent into skill. It doesn't go transparent into being really good in the league, because if that was true, if you look at the fastest 40 times in the combine, a lot of guys don't even play in the league.
Right, you're right.
One guy that beats that is Chris Johnson. Was the fastest in the league, and he made a great name for himself in the league for a long time for the Tennessee Titans. But I don't know. It's something that's going on that people aren't picking up Ringo. I know a lot of guys were in the Buccaneers chat groups talking about Hyatt. I said there's something about Hyatt that teams aren't going for. There's a reason why you're sitting there that far. You watch 5 and 6 other wide receivers go in front of you, and you went late. There's obviously something going on there. I don't know. I mean, I say, is it Hooker or is it Hyatt? I didn't really hear Hyatt's name once Hooker went down, but when Hooker was in, Hyatt was the guy.
Hyatt was making a lot of plays.
Yeah,
was it the Giants that picked him?
Giants took Hyatt, and they need wide receivers.
Yeah, they needed that. So
because Slayton couldn't stay healthy in New York, and I like Dable out there in New York. I think he fits that team. He has that New Yorker. When you look at a New Yorker coach, I think he fits that mold out there. And I think Buffalo's hurting, losing him. He kept Josh Allen in check. Josh Allen had a lot of turnovers this year after Brian Dable left and went to the Giants. So, I mean, the Giants look to be on the upside, making a lot of great picks, right along with the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. I mean, where you see with that? I know I didn't talk to you about that. I mean, what were your thoughts about Rodgers and the Jets? I mean, how does that affect the draft? I mean, what do you think?
I'm glad it got done prior to, because I think that it could have altered this draft severely, right? Not knowing how it would have, but the draft would have been way different. I think the Jets are trying to take a page out of Tampa's book. Tampa got a older Brett Favre. Brett Favre. I've been talking about the.
You did get
I've been talking about the Packers and all this shit for so long. Blake, it's killing me, man. Like I said, I told you, did a 4-hour show yesterday. But no, Aaron Rodgers. You talking about him? But I think they're trying to take a page out of the Buccaneers book when they got Brady late. Took him a little while to get going. Made the run in the playoffs. Won the Super Bowl. You get a 39-year-old quarterback. Give up what you give up for him. It's all or nothing right now. It's all or nothing now. So they got to figure it out. You got pieces around them. I think they addressed offensive line in the first round.
Yep.
To help protect them. You got Lazard there that was one of the safety blankets. Wilson, the receiver, is amazing. He's a monster. Was it Swain, the running back that they have? If he's healthy. I mean, so I think he has solid pieces around him, and it's going to be interesting to see, how it transitions this year, but they got to go get it because that window of opportunity. You just know Aaron Rodgers. It may be one and done for him. He may decide that he wants to go on a hiatus next year and not play anymore. You never know what you're gonna get with him.
Nope, you're absolutely right. He could come out injured. You don't know. So you're right. Every move that they make from this point on has to be about win now. Win now.
Yeah.
I hope it's fun jumping on here, James. Which I'm glad we got to see the third round pick, as well as talking pick 1 and pick 2. We'll see what the later rounds entail because those are my favorite rounds. You want to share what round you were picked in, James? I know the answer. A lot of people watching may not.
Big game James, Tampa Bay Buccaneers pick 175 in the 1998 draft. 6th round, 175. Still remember it to this day, man.
Did you anticipate Tampa calling, or was it somebody else you had in mind?
Man, I told a story the other day, man. Tampa reached out to me. They said some things to my agent, but they were kind of real low key about it. So, like going into the weekend, I knew I was a day 2 guy. It was only 2 days back then. It wasn't 3. It wasn't primetime Thursdays, but I was a second day guy. I was told I can go anywhere from late 3rd to through 7th round. Jacksonville Jaguars called me in the 4th, and I'm like, oh, cool, I'm going to go to Jacksonville. Then I got a call from the Ravens and the Colts in the 5th. That didn't happen. So I'm like, man, hell with the NFL draft, man. I don't even care no more. And then the Buccaneers called me in the 6th round. I was in the room on my bed just looking at the ceiling, not even watching the draft no more when my phone rang. And there's all, is this James? Oh, yeah. I was like, hold on one second. Tony Dungy wants to talk to you. I was like, what? For real? And then I just kind of went crazy from there, man.
And the rest is history.
That's it.
Yeah, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of those same stories coming up for these gentlemen coming up into day 3.
Yeah.
We'll see what stories are there. Who's it going to be? Because, like I said, there's a lot of guys that are drafted on this day that are stars in today's draft.
Yeah, and Blake, one thing I do, and it's hard for me to say it, I hate calling people draft busts because at this point in time, these young men's lives, they're living their dream. They're getting selected. It's something they wanted to do forever.
Yep.
And like we said, sometimes a team picks a kid that doesn't fit what they do. They throw them out. They just, get rid of them, cut them or whatever else. And they get written off as a bust and a failure, yet they never really had a chance to show off what they can do, display their talents because they were never in the right situation. And I hate it sometimes, man.
Yeah, it's like what that phrase I said the last time we were together. You're trying to make an apple into an orange,
right?
And are you trying to fit a square in a round hole? I mean,
right.
That's just what happens, and that's why you see the guys will leave one team and have a stellar career elsewhere because you played people to their strengths. You didn't try to draft him just off his athletic ability and then try to change everything that he was actually good at.
Right, exactly.
Those are the guys you draft, guys that fit what you're trying to do. James, I appreciate you jumping on, talking draft. We'll get together again. Want to put out everything that you got going on, where they can find all your work?
Yeah, man, we're going through a little bit of a transition right now, but if you go to YouTube, you can find the channel is Big Game Sports Buzz. I do something called Games Peter Perspective that's geared towards all my Tampa Bay Buccaneers stuff. Big Game Sports Buzz is a sports variety show. We give you everything NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, UFC, whatever it is. We're hitting you up on Twitter. You can see it underneath my name is at bgsportsbuzz or at jcan97. So that's what I'm doing. I'm out there just open myself up. I love interacting with old fans and people that I know cheer me on when I was in Tampa and even Indianapolis, man, because I always say this, I could never do it without the fans and the support. So I'm glad I have this avenue to still interact with those fans, man.
Yep, and keep grinding it out in the media game, man. As I tell Caleb and all the guys that jump on with us here, as all the many players that we've talked to over my time, I'm glad that you guys are now taking over media because I've been so sick and tired of people talking about stuff that they have no effing clue what they're talking about. Never wore a jockstrap, never wore any of that, but they're misinforming you all that are looking to be educated on things that you're not sure about.
Right.
So how is somebody that's never done that going to tell you that?
Right. Exactly.
So So I'm really glad to always have you guys on and hear your stories. I love that you guys are now taking back media. All of us athletes, even myself, we're all glad that we're all taking over and making a stand and doing that.
Yep.
James, until next time, well, as we always do, you're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you do with it is entirely up to you. Thank you guys. God bless. And as always, fire those cannons.